Hello students, welcome to Karnataka LMS, Department of Collegiate and Technical Education. This is the subject of organizational behavior for the BBM students. I'm Ranjitha B.R. Today in this session, I'm going to present a topic on factors influencing perception. The perception, organization, and interpretation of information depend very much on the characteristics of the stimuli, characteristics of the situation, and some our own personality characteristics. The situational and personality characteristics which influence the perceptual set are as explained are going to be explained now. The three important factors influencing the perceptual set, that is, number one, characteristics of the perceiver. Second one, characteristics of the perceived. And the third one, that is, characteristics of the situation. The first one, characteristics of the perceiver. When a person looks at a target and attempts to interpret what he sees, his interpretation is greatly influenced by his personal characteristics, which are discussed as follows. Number one, needs and motives. Our need pattern play a very important role how we perceive things. A need is a feeling of discomfort or tension when one thinks he is missing something or requires something. Therefore, unsatisfied needs or motives stimulate individuals and may exert a strong influence on their perception. When people are not able to satisfy their needs, they are charged in a wishful thinking, which is a way to satisfy their needs, not in the real world, but in an imaginary world. In such cases, people will perceive only those items which suit their wishful thinking. Motives also influence the perception of people. People who are devious or prone to see others is also a motive for them. Next one, there is a self-concept. Self-concept indicates how we perceive ourselves, which then influences how we perceive others and the situation we are in. The more we understand ourselves, the more we are able to perceive others accurately. For example, strong people, secure people tend to see others as warm and friendly. And the less secure people often find the fault in the others. So perceiving ourselves accurately and enhancing our self-concept are factors that enhance accurate perception. Next one, that is past experience. Our perception always guided by our past experiences and what we expect to see. A person's past experience makes him to perceive the current situation. If a person has been betrayed by a couple of friends in the past, he would tend to distrust a new friendship that he might be in the process of developing. So past experiences play a vital role in trust criteria, trusting others, trusting friends, trusting a spouse, everything. The past experience plays a vital role. Then current psychological state. The psychological and emotional states of an individual are likely to influence how things are to be perceived. If a person is depressed, then he perceives the same situation differently than if he is elated. So if he is happy, he perceives in different notion. If he is depressed, the same situation he perceives in different thing. So similarly, if a person scared, um, so he likely to perceive a rope as a snake like this. So the current psychological state also plays in influencing the perception. Next one, beliefs. A person believes influence his perception to a great extent. The fact is conceived not on what it is, but what a person believes it to be. He wants how to see it. That plays a role. The individual normally censors stimulus inputs to avoid a disturbance of his existing beliefs. So what he believe will be what he want to see. So next one, that is expectations. Expectations affect the perception of a person. Expectations are related with the state of anticipation of particular behavior from a person. A teacher will expect some kind of behavior from a student. Likewise, a technical manager will expect others, non-technical people, where as in some manner, and he treats them as ignorant about the technical features of the product. That is the expectation. Then situation. Elements in the environment surroundings an individual, like time, location, light, heat, weather, that influence his perception. The context in which a person sees the object or events is a very important. Then cultural upbringing. A person's ethics and his cultural upbringing also plays an important role in his perception about others. It is difficult to perceive the personality of a person raised in another's culture because our judgment is based upon our own values. So these are the characteristics of the perceiver. And now we will move on to the characteristics of the perceived. Characteristics of the person who is being observed can affect what is perceived. Though it may go against logic and objectivity, but it cannot be denied that our perceptions about others are influenced by their physical characteristics, such as appearances, age, gender, manner of communication, as well as personality traits and other forms of behavior. For example, loud people are more likely to be noticed in a group than are quiet ones. So, the two extremely attractive, extremely ugly individuals, persons, objects, or events that are similar to each other tend to be grouped together. People dressed in business suits are generally thought to be professionals, while employees dressed in ordinary work clothes are assumed to be lower level employees. So the status of occupation of a person also influences the perception. So characteristics of the person who is being observed can affect what is perceived, though it may go against logic and objectivity. But it cannot be denied that our perception about others are influenced by their physical characteristics such as appearances, age, gender, manner of communication, as well as personality traits and other forms of behavior. So these are the characteristics of the perceived. Now, it is the characteristics of the situation. The context in which we see objects or events is very important. The surrounding environment and the elements present in it influence our perception. While perceiving a particular situation or event, its physical, social, and organization setting can also influence the perception. For example, if you meet a person for the first time and he is with a person whom you respect and admire, you will create a favorable image about him in your mind as compared to a situation in which you see him with another person whom you intensely dislike. Of course, the initial impressions may change with the passage of time, but the saying that first impression is the last impression is very valued. Location of a given event is also an important factor in determining the behavior. For example, a conversation with the boss taking place in a casual reception area may be perceived differently than when taking place in the boss office or in a cabin. So organization setting also affect the behavior of the people. An organization setting where people are given an opportunity to interact in a friendly and sociable work situation, they become more trustworthy and less defensive. So from the Google, I've taken this chart that is characteristics of the perceiver, needs, motives, self-concept, past experience, psychological state, beliefs, expectation, situation, and cultural upbringing give the way for individuals' perception. It is also influenced by characteristics of the perceiver and the characteristics of the situation. Characteristics of the perceived, that physical characteristics of the perceived, the physical appearance, similarity, behavior, manner of communication, and status. And characteristics of the situation, like physical setting, social setting, and organizational setting, that will have the impact or the component of individuals' perception. And the factors, these are the factors that are going to influence the perceptional set. So by this, I end this session. Thank you. Thank you one and all for watching this video.